because we are going to finish off Ezekiel, and next week we're going to start with the book of Daniel. So this is our lesson today for Team Alex, Team Val, and Team May. Okay, so I'll recap. This is what we have done. We have actually gone through the commission of Ezekiel, and in Ezekiel is shown a vision of the glory of God departing. That is in chapter 11. Okay, now I want to go into this area, then later we'll go here and then we'll go here. Because there's a couple of very, very important chapters which I want to revisit. So we will go to chapter 20. Okay, this is after the glory of God has departed from the temple and Ezekiel is brought back to Babylon. Yet God continues to file complaints against them. God continues to tell Ezekiel to tell them, this is what you have done. So Ezekiel 20 and 22, 23 records God's complaint over them. What have they done wrong? So I want to revisit that because I think it's very important for us. Now they become a bit more specific about the sins of Jerusalem and the sins of Judah. So the question is, name the sins that are most mentioned. Right, God talks a lot about what they have done wrong. But here, they're going to be a bit more specific about the sins of Jerusalem or Judah that God really, really is not happy with. Let's all go to Ezekiel 20. Alright? Now, Ezekiel 20 is in the, if you read the first verse, is in the 7th year, in the 5th month, on the 10th day. Ezekiel is always like that, very, very particular. So in other words, this one is the 10th of, example, May. Alright, the 10th of May, on the 7th year of exile. On the 5th year of exile, remember, God came to him in the vision that Bel wrote. On the 6th year, God showed him the vision of the temple and his glory leaving. Now we are on the 7th year. So it's 1 year after the glory of God left the temple. And what happens? Some of Israel's elders came to inquire of the Lord. So there's a group of elders came to Ezekiel to seek God's guidance. And what did the Lord tell them?
When they came, the Lord obviously didn't want to answer any of their questions, but He has His own message for them.
Alright, and He says this, it's not just that I don't want to talk to you. It says in verse 3, in my version, as I live, I will not let you inquire of me. That means until the day I die, I say it as a human thinking, I will also not let you approach me. Why? Alright, so we want to figure out why. Because we don't want to be in that situation that God really totally rejects us.
Actually, God is giving them the history. The message is the history of Israel's apostasy since Egypt time. He keeps reminding them that, you know what you have done to me. And in chapter 20, verse 8, but they rebelled against me and were unwilling to listen to me. None of them threw away the abhorrent things that they prized, and they did not abandon the idols of Egypt.
Alright, so again now we can see that the mention of idols again. Okay, the mention of idol is always there. That is the one that God hates the most.
So I consider pouring out my wrath on them, exhausting my anger against them within the land of Egypt.
This is talking about the descendant those days. Even in Egypt those days, that God was angry with them.
I also gave them my Sabbath to serve as a sign between me and them, so that they would know that I am the Lord who consecrates them.
Alright, so here you see God talking about what? The Sabbath day. And the Sabbath day was given as a reminder of our relationship, so that you will know that I, the Lord, has sanctified them. You in this whole chapter itself, alright, I want you later to count for me the number of times I am the Lord God. I am the Lord God. He just says, I am the Lord God and I sanctify you. Then I gave you the Sabbath as a reminder of our relationship. Okay, so after that?
After that, in verse 13. Okay, but the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not follow my statutes and they rejected my ordinances.
Okay, so what is the name of the sin that they most did.
They did not obey the statutes of
Correct. And what is statutes?
law,
What is law?
10 commandments.
In essence, it's the 10 commandments. In essence, okay, there's 613 Jewish laws, but in essence, the main one is the one written on stone, which is the 10 commandments. And they utterly profane my Sabbaths. And so I
considered pouring out my wrath on them in the wilderness to put an end to them.
second time Sabbath is mentioned already. I want you to count how many times Sabbath is mentioned even in this chapter itself.
And God said that because they rejected my ordinances, profaned my Sabbath, and did not follow my statutes. Again, this is repeated.
For their hearts followed their idols. So this is the third time Sabbath is mentioned even in the 16 verses.
Yeah.
There's already 3 times Sabbath is mentioned already. Then 20.
Okay, keep my Sabbaths holy, and they will be a sign between me and you, so you may know that I am the Lord your God.
I am the Lord your God. You count how many times God mentions, I am the Lord your God, and connects it to
The Sabbath.
So this is the 4th time mentioned Sabbath. And
Okay, 21, right? 21. But the children rebelled against me. They did not follow my statutes or carefully keep my ordinances. They also profane my Sabbath.
again is Sabbath. How chonghe can God be?
Yeah, very.
This is 5th time, right? And I decided to pour my rage on them and fully vent my anger against them in the wilderness. After that, any more?
24.
Yeah, 24.
24, okay?
For they did not practice my ordinances, but reject my statutes and profane my Sabbath.
And
Okay, and their eyes were fixed on their father's idols.
6th time, am I right? This is the 6th time Sabbath is mentioned even in 24 verses. 6 times, and Sabbath is always related to about statutes and idols. You can see in the whole verses that God talks about is about it's about their statutes, Sabbath and idols. Statutes, Sabbath and idols. So you can sort of connect what are they doing already. So
26.
Ezekiel 20 is about what? What is the sin that's most mentioned?
Profaning Sabbath,
Profaning Sabbath,
and rejecting the disobedience towards God's law.
disobedience towards God's law, and idols. These are the one that is most mentioned in this chapter itself. It's a very long chapter, and this is the chapter that God tells them, look, I cannot stand you anymore. Right, from Egypt all the way, I brought your fathers out, and they profane. Then I killed them, I brought up a new generation, but this generation again refused to obey me. And he is most unhappy about what? 3 things. The idols, the Sabbath, and the law. 6 times is mentioned in this chapter. What is your conclusion? What is your conclusion? When God says it 1 time, okay lah. When God says it 2 times,
Better pay attention.
better listen a bit lah. If God says it 3 times,
Wow, very important.
am I right, teachers? Correct or not? You say 1 time,
You better obey the system.
it's important to God. It's important to God. Right. When God starts nagging and telling you a few times, you have to deem it as serious. And if you don't understand it, then you must go and search. What is this about Sabbath that is so important to God? But finally, at the end of this verse 44.
Verse 44, okay? You will know that I am the Lord, house of Israel, and I have dealt with you for the sake of my name rather than according to your evil ways and corrupt acts. This is the declaration of the Lord God.
This is the declaration of God. Is that I will deal with you, but basically because of my reputation, I'm going to restore Israel. He said it 2 times already. Right? He's saying now, he's going to say it later again. It's not because of you, it's because of my reputation. And what is God's reputation all about? What is God's reputation? You see, God brought up this nation called Israel in the midst of other nations to be the model nation. Correct or not? To be the model nation to do what? When you say, oh, this is a role model, what does it mean? If you say, well, wow, Alex is my role model, what do you mean?
Follow.
Yes, I found a good role model means I want to follow, I want to learn from him. So Israel was supposed to be the role model for all the other nations. That's the reason why God established Israel, is to evangelize to the other nations. But what happened? They in turn were evangelized. They in turn went after the idols. They in turn went after the practice of the other nations. So it's very important for us to understand that as Christians today, are we evangelizing or are we being evangelized? So they were supposed to be the role model. That's why God says, because of you, my name's sake. My name was profaned, my name has gone down the drain because of you guys. Because you didn't follow, you're supposed to be the role model. So, as Ezekiel 22, does it talk any more about the sins?
Yeah.
My title here is the sins of Jerusalem. What else does he talk about? Ezekiel 22. Verse 7 first.
Verse 7, okay. Father and mother are treated with contempt, and the residence alien is exploited within you.
Okay, so now God is more specific on how is on the social aspect of it. Says that they treated their father and mother with contempt. Which commandment is that?
Not the honor and corruption.
That's right. So you can see within all these complaints that it has a lot to do with the 10 commandments. It's commandment number 5, honor your father and your mother, because they didn't. And they oppressed the foreigner among them. God is also against foreigner oppression. So please treat your mates well. And they have wronged the orphan and the widow within you. Verse 8 again.
You despise my holy things and profane my Sabbaths.
Okay, holy things and Sabbath are connected here in this verse. Right? He associates holy things with Sabbath. 9.
And there are men within you who slander in order to shed blood. People who live in you eat in the mountain shrines. They commit depraved acts within you. And men within you have sexual intercourse with their father's wife and violate women during their menstrual impurity. One man within you commits a detestable act with his neighbor's wife, another defiles his daughter-in-law with depravity, and yet another violates his sister, his father's daughter. So,
okay,
it's talking about sexual immorality.
Yes. Again, that is mentioned in the 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not commit adultery. So everything basically related. And chapter 22 is talking about Sabbath and references to our actions. So is Sabbath important or not? Why is it important? What did God say? It is a sign between them and me. It's a sign between me and my people, Sabbath. Correct or not? That they might know what? I am the Lord. Because the Sabbath was created when? Creation itself. At creation, when God put it aside and made it holy. So sanctification is about making things holy. So I want to bring you good news. The fact that you are here on the Sabbath day, you are holy. Holiness does not have to do with morality. Some people associate holiness with morality. Oh, this guy behaved like that, he's not holy and all that. Holiness is about being set apart, to be sanctified. So you are set apart first, then you are made holy. You cannot be holy, then come to church. You know what I mean? It is a wrong theology to say that you must be holy to approach God. And the word holiness is mainly set apart, to be sanctified. So whatever thing you have done in the past, when you come to God like this, you are set apart, then you will be sanctified. Okay, that is basically this word sanctification is made holy by God. You cannot be holy on your own. Right? And it says, I am the Lord your God again. How many times? At least I think 5 times in the chapter 20. Follow my decrees and be careful. Keep my Sabbath holy. How do you keep Sabbath holy? Don't watch TV, already holy. Can I watch Case for Christ or not? On TV. Can I watch football? Can only watch National Geographic. Cannot go swimming on the Sabbath day, can go nature walk. Alright, okay, so the idea is to set it apart for God. That is basically it. Okay, so you are holy now that you're sitting here. Because this is the word, I am the Lord. I am the Lord. Okay, and then it talks about his name, say, I am the Lord. How many of us accepted Jesus as our Savior? How many of us accept him as our Lord? Some of the hand like that. Lord means what, you know? You are the servant. Whatever he tells you to do, you do. See, a lot of times, they say, okay, you must accept Jesus as your Savior. This is different when you accept him as your Lord. But God says, I'm your Lord. Yes, I'm your master, I'm your Lord. Whatever I tell you to do, you do. So the hand goes down a bit. Just now, oh, Savior like that. Okay, nevertheless, he is still your Lord, whether you accept it or not. Okay, he's still your Lord. Okay, now I want you to go to a very interesting verse. This verse. 22:30. Okay, God was complaining. Then verse 30, he says something very interesting. What does he say? Angela, you can read or you can read from here.
I sought for a man among them who would make a wall and stand in the gap before me on behalf of the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found no one.
Okay. He was looking, here my version said, I looked for a man from among them who would repair the wall and stand in the gap between me on behalf of the land. But I found no one. During Noah's time, God was going to destroy the whole world. Am I right? But he found one righteous man, and his name was Noah. So because of one man, God did not destroy the world. So here, God was so angry with them. God said, I want to find one person that can intercede for Israel. But did he find anybody? He did not find. If he had found one person, then he may not have treated them so drastically. So do you know why it's so important to be an intercessor for prayer? It is so important. Because sometimes people do wrong things. Sometimes we go wrong. Sometimes we can't even pray ourselves. But can somebody pray on behalf of us? Definitely can. Definitely can. Can you pray on behalf of leaders? Definitely can. And I know you all always pray for the pastor and myself. And we thank you for that. Because intercessors are very important. That's why I know in prayer meeting you always pray for others, right? You will pray for this person, pray for that. It's so important because here, if God can find one intercessor, God will have rescued and saved Israel from destruction. Can you intercede for the country or not? You can intercede on behalf of Malaysia. That God will not destroy Malaysia one day, or that God will bring up Malaysia as a nation that serves Him. You can do that. That's why here it's talking about intercessor. One man only. Who will be that man? One man only. Can you intercede for Utama Pikan? Yes, you can. Can you intercede for your family? Definitely. God will honor your intercession. And God has shown results here as well. Now, we are going into the second part already. So now you understand why is it so important. There are some things that God are so particular. What is it? Idol worship, Sabbath, law, and the treatment of others. These are the few things. These are the few things. And Jesus is going to sum it up into two later part in the New Testament. Now we are going into the next assignment. We are going in talking about judgment of the nations. Because why? There are many chapters. There are a couple of chapters, almost 10 chapters on the judgment of nations. Who are the nations that God is going to judge? Well,
Chapter 25.
chapter 25.
So in chapter 25, there are 4 nations mentioned here. The first nation is Ammon, Ammonites. So their sin is that because they said good about my sanctuary when it was desecrated, about the land of Israel when it was laid waste, and about the house of Judah when they went into exile. So basically, they were like scorning or looking down on Israel.
Just because you mock and you scorn God's people, you kena. So be careful what you say. Okay, because here, the Ammonites. Who are the Ammonites? Descendants of?
Ammonites are descendants from Lot.
Yes. Ammonite, Moabite are descendants from Lot's 2 daughters. Right? Okay? So, will be, because they say, they laugh at them, they laugh at the Israelites. Now, your house is going to be desolate, right? Okay, who else?
And second one is Moab, which
Moab?
is also related to Ammon, the siblings. So the Moabites, the sin was, they said that, look, the house of Judah is like all the other nations, therefore God punished them.
Okay, so Moabite, the same thing. They laugh at Israel. They clap hands, rejoice that when Israel fell. So God is going to punish them, both Moabites. Again, they are descendant of Lot, the nephew of Abraham. Then
The third nation is Edom, Edomites. So what they did was they acted vengefully against the house of Judah.
who are the Edomites? The descendants of
Esau.
the descendants of Esau. You were talking about that, the descendants of Esau. Esau is the brother of Jacob, who stole the birthright from him. And Esau, at the end, forgave Jacob, but strangely, God doesn't like him, or doesn't like his descendants somehow. So here, he's going to destroy them. Who's the next nation that God is going to destroy?
Then the fourth one is Philistines.
Okay, verse 15.
They also acted in vengeance and took
Yes.
revenge with deep contempt,
Yeah.
destroying because of their ancient hatred.
Alright, so Philistine we know here. Okay, so here is Israel and Judah. You can see it's all neighboring country. Edom, Moab, Ammon. They are all neighboring countries. They were enemies of Israel. So here, the enemies are all around. This will be destroyed. Israel is here, mainly Judah. Israel already, at that time, no more already. Judah here, Philistine here. Then after that, in chapter 26,
Then chapter 26 is Tyre.
okay,
So their sin was they also sort of laughed at them, and then at the same time they took advantage of the ruin of Israel. And
there are 3
revenge.
chapters, right? There are 3 chapters talking about the fall of Tyre. 3 chapters. So it's a very, very important city at that point in time because it was a port city. In fact, do you remember the king of Tyre previously? During David's time, he had very good relationship with king of Tyre. During king of Tyre sent him all the wood to build, correct, not? Solomon time as well, King Hiram of Tyre also provided the cedar wood and all that. So they were actually allies of Israel those days, and that's the reason why they became so good, so big, and so well known. But somehow after that, they became too arrogant. They became arrogant. So God says, right, who is going to destroy Tyre? Ezekiel 26 verse 7.
6 verse 7. For this is what Lord God says. See, I am about to bring Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, king of kings, against Tyre from the north, with horses, chariots, cavalry, and a vast company of troops.
Okay, so who is going to come and invade Tyre?
Babylon.
Babylon, my servant. No, Nebuchadnezzar, my servant. He's going to use Nebuchadnezzar to punish his own people as well as invade other nations. So Babylon is going to do that. Then which other nations?
Chapter 28, verse 20, there's against Sidon, the Sidonians.
Yeah. Okay. Tyre and Sidon, just here.
So chapter 29 is
Yeah.
against Egypt.
Okay, against Egypt. The Pharaoh of Egypt. So God is going to destroy Egypt, and God is going to use again Babylon. Okay, to destroy Egypt. By that time, Egypt was not a very a powerful nation anymore because the pharaohs were already quite weak pharaohs. But God still wanted to invoke destruction over them through Babylon. So these were all the enemies of Israel that God is going to destroy. So do you think that God has control over nations or not? Do you think that God has control over Malaysia? Does God have control over the nations? God is trying to tell you now, here, look, I will judge the nations. You don't worry. Okay, you don't worry. I will judge the nations. God has His time with them, just as God has His time with us. Am I right? Because He has shown you already, He will judge the nation and all nations will answer to God one day. So let's not worry and think like, oh, what is going to happen? Let's pray and intercede for our country. Let's pray and intercede for our government. So God is saying, ultimately, I will judge my people, I will judge the nations. And then, what is going to happen? Again, before He does that, He says that,
Therefore say to the house of Israel, thus says the Lord God, I do not do this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my holy name's sake, which you have profaned among the nations wherever you went.
okay, so before the end of it, God tells again, remind again, I'm not doing it for your sake, I'm doing it for my own name's sake. My own name's sake, because I am Lord your God. I'm the Lord your God. Okay, so finally we will get to Team May. Sorry about the delay. We will get to Team May. And before that, we're going to go to verse 40, whereby Ezekiel is shown a vision. And this is such a particular vision. This is a vision that I tell you, only a person like Ezekiel can note it down, because the measurements are so precise. More than the tabernacle one that Moses got. It was so precise that it goes into a couple of chapters. We won't go through it, but he is shown a vision of what? A temple. Okay? A temple. Ezekiel 40, Ezekiel 41, Ezekiel 42. He is shown a temple. Okay? Something like this, whereby he is shown all the dimensions. This one looks like what? The previous one. Am I right? The tabernacle, the first temple, but more elaborate. More elaborate. There will be stalls, there will be places to eat and things like that. And finally, Ezekiel 43. What is he shown?
He was shown the return of the Lord's glory. Verse 43, verse 4, the glory of the Lord entered the temple by way of the gate that faced east.
Yes, right. And if you go before that, at verse 2, he says what?
Verse 2, and I saw the glory of the God of Israel coming from the east.
Coming from the east. You ask the question, why east? Is there any significance to east or not? China. Coming from Asia, the east. Okay, because Jesus is going to come from the east. So let's keep looking east. Buy your house facing east. And the sound is like what?
His voice sounded like the roar of mighty waters, and the earth shone with his glory.
Yeah, the sound of many waters. This one will be again, you will read it in the book of Revelation. Then, verse 3.
Verse 3, the vision I saw was like the one I had seen when he came to destroy the city, and like the ones I had seen by the Kibar Canal.
So was he familiar with that vision? Yes, he saw it already. Val drew it for us. He saw it. First vision, he saw it. Second vision, in chapter 8. Now he's seeing it again, the glory of the Lord. And then, verse 7.
Verse 7, he said to me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne and the place for the soles of my feet, where I will dwell among the Israelites forever.
Okay, yeah.
The house of Israel and their kings will no longer defile my holy name by their religious prostitution and by the corpses of their king at their high places.
This one. This is the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will live among the people. And that was the first intention of God. Build me a sanctuary so that I can dwell with them. Where was this? In the wilderness when he spoke to Moses. Okay, so now again he says, I'm going to rebuild that temple even more extravagant, and I'm going to live among the people of Israel forever. Did it happen? Some people believe that this vision is eschatological, that means end time. Okay? But at this moment, it doesn't really say end time. In Ezekiel's mind, it's probably soon. Okay, soon. The other question was this, right?
When will the door
Yes.
of the inner court be opened?
Right. when will the door of the inner court? So there is a temple now, alright, he's shown. So we go to chapter
46, Ezekiel 46.
Ezekiel 46.
Verse 1 says, "This is what the Lord God says. The gate of the inner court that faces east must be closed during the 6 days of work, but it will be open on the seventh day and open on the day of the new moon."
Right, you go there on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, tutup. Sunday, tutup. Saturday, open. Alright, you ask him, how do you know Sabbath is Saturday? Okay, come and see us after this. Sabbath day only open. And new moon open. And who is going to enter it through the gate?
The prince.
The prince.
The prince should enter from the outside by way of the gate's portico and stand at the doorpost of the gate while the priest sacrifices his burnt offering and fellowship offering. He will bow in worship at the threshold of the gate and then depart, but the gate must not be closed until evening.
Who is the prince? It references the prince a lot in a few times in Ezekiel. Who is the prince? It is not Jesus because he's going to do sacrifice. Okay? Prince. The king's son is a prince. Correct. Yeah, so I suppose it's some kind of royalty or some leader. It's not the priest. It's not the priest. Okay, priests are priests. Okay, this one is the prince. And it's not Jesus because because the priest will provide his burnt offering and his peace offering. So he is the leader of the nation. He's the leader of the nation. And they continue the sacrificial system. So in my mind, if they continue the sacrificial system, it doesn't seem like it's end time. Because will they be sacrificing in the end time? No, it doesn't seem that way, but they're still wondering this prophecy. Where else in the Bible can you find similar imagery of what Ezekiel saw?
The first was the tabernacle.
Right. If you look back, the tabernacle, Moses was given exact measurement as well. Exact. So here the same thing, exact as well. The priest also, the clothing in the temple must be made of what? Linen only. You must only wear linen in the temple. Okay, so why is God showing Ezekiel this vision? Why do you think?
He wants him to go and tell Israel
About?
the promised land.
Yes, the restoration of the temple, which he left in chapter 8 to 11. He left his own temple, he destroyed his own temple. Now he's going to rebuild his temple and come back. The glory of the Lord enters the temple again. And everything starts all over again. But by that time, there will be no more idol worship. Which is so true because after they come out of the exile, the Jews never worship idols anymore. Then we have a chapter that talks about him dividing up. And he talks about the 12 tribes again. So, he talks about the 12 tribes again, the last chapter, Ezekiel 48. And he references the 12 tribes again. Whereas the 12 tribes are already down to 2 tribes. Only Judah. Israel already has been captured by Assyria and they've already disseminated, they've already merged with the other nations. That's why when pastors say Israelites don't look like Israelites, it's so true. 722 BC they already started. Because the Assyrian king, the way he wanted to destroy the nation was to bring the whole nation and disperse them. Then bring his own people and put them in Israel. That was 722 BC. It's no wonder that today Israelites do not look like Israelites. So this vision is very strange because did Israel ever unite? Anybody knows? Uncle Theo, did Israel ever unite? I'm not talking about the modern Israel 1947, that one. This one is after the exile. After the exile. The exile was Judah, right? The kingdom of Judah. So they came back from the exile. Did Israel and Judah join back?
No.
No. Okay. They were dispersed. There were some. There were the Levites. There were the Levites that moved back down to Judah when Israel was apostatizing. But the other tribes no more. I wonder why God puts this vision in the last chapter of Ezekiel to unite Israel. Has it happened? It has not happened. Because Israel has never been united like this. But he was very specific to give the lands, this, all the way in vision to Ezekiel. Again, in the book of Revelation, he will also reference the 12 tribes. So are the 12 tribes of Israel important? We'll see what happens as we move along. If you study into it, the 10 lost tribes of Israel, some of them say that the lost tribe of Israel went to England, some of them say went to Africa, some of them the lost tribes went to America and formed the Americas. But they were never really united. So what can we learn from this? This is the end of Ezekiel. You hear of Ezekiel no more, and Ezekiel dies halfway in the exile. Strange, we don't know anything about Ezekiel. He only talks about prophecy. You know about Daniel, the life, you know about Jeremiah, Isaiah, you know, but Ezekiel, nothing.
Miserable life, what?
Miserable life, I tell you, this prophet, but he could see the glory of God. Would you sacrifice everything to see the glory of God? Okay, I hope to leave you more questions about Ezekiel so that you will continue to explore and to search. I think that's very